Cale Sinfield is the owner of Social Bee Social Media, a social media agency based in the southeast of England, and Social Media Management Company of the Year in the recent 2020 Prestige Awards. Cale has a background in sales and marketing and managed a call centre for 10 years at a time when social media was becoming a big way in which customers communicated. And 4 years ago, after redundancy, Cale launched his business and then a year later purchased his second, which is part of a well-established franchise, The Best Of. And Cale, as you will find out in a minute, is a fun, loving character with the love of bringing people together at the heart of his goals for the year ahead. Hello and welcome to Talk Business with Cale.
Thanks, David. Good to see you.
Good to see you, mate. Thank you so much for taking the time this morning. Cale, I'm really interested, knowing a little bit about you already. Take us back to the beginning. I can imagine that call centre that you managed was a lot of fun. What were you selling and how did it go?
Blimey, yeah, I was in a manufacturing firm actually, and it was lots of fun. You know, we in any kind of call center environment, you deal with lots of happy customers. Of course, you do. You're moving product around, supply and demand. That's great. There's also the tough parts of being in a call center.
Yeah.
The rejection, the angry customers, and it was really important just to make sure that you realise it wasn't personal, and whilst, you might be at the end of the phone and you're the sounding board for the whole company. But I had a fantastic team around me. I miss them all dearly. They're a good bunch and they work really, really hard in very difficult circumstances at times. So, yeah, it's good. I actually started in a call centre back when I was 18. I worked for BT. I was only saying to somebody yesterday that and one of the first things they said to you was make sure you say sorry on every call. I mean, that kind of suggests, I think, that they were expecting an unhappy customer. But at 18, I had to learn very quickly that it wasn't necessarily my fault, but I was apologising on behalf of the company.
Yeah.
For an 18-year-old, that was a bit tough, I tell you.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, the reason why I said it would be a fun environment is knowing you for a little while now, Cale. You've got an amazing energy about you. You are full of fun yourself, and I can imagine that's really contagious. What do you put that down to? Are you always like that? Are you one of these people where you're really fun for a couple of hours when you have to go and sit in a dark room for 10 minutes just to recharge your batteries?
No, probably the other way, actually. It's fun all the time. If you speak to my partner, she'll tell you, yeah, sometimes it's not necessarily appropriate. And I think I probably use a bit of fun in awkward situations because I feel awkward or whatever. But we did have a good team, and we have to, you have to enjoy any job you do. It's really, really important. I think testament was we shipped out pallets of products. On my last day, they pallet wrapped my car. I was cheerio, off you go, and I wasn't going anywhere. What was annoying though was all of that day I'd been sellotaping up all the scissors around the building, so I couldn't get out the shrink wrap anyway. But yeah, good fun.
Brilliant. You mentioned, a few moments ago that in a call center, obviously a big part of the job is that rejection. How did you help build resilience in your teams and get over hearing lots of no's and having that phone slammed down time and time again?
Well, just as I said, by reassuring them that it's not about them. But making sure that the individual took ownership of that problem. Because I think for lots of customers, whenever we ring somebody and we're unhappy, if you feel that you're not being listened to, or you feel that that person, you make a complaint, someone writes a note, and then they move on to the next call. So what we did was make sure that I say, yes, look, it's not about you. Now let's help the customer, though. Let's resolve their situation. And that gave the individuals ownership of the problems then as well. And then the satisfaction, although it was an unhappy customer, the satisfaction at the end gave them, made them come back the following day. We had a great team and the retention was brilliant. So, yeah, it was good. It's good times.
We mentioned during the intro that you've now got an award-winning social media agency. How did the move into the world of social media come about? And what was your first contact with social media?
Probably back when I was working for a publishing company selling advertising, was when MySpace, Facebook kind of took off, and it was, I think I was just starting to get to the point where I was starting to feel like I was getting on a little bit. I mean, I was in my 30s, late 20s, whatever, but you know what it's like. You just think, oh, that's not for me. That's what the kids are doing. But got into it. And as things have progressed, the sales environment has had to change. My background has always been about customer service. And it was quite apparent that you could put customer service across on social media in lots and lots of ways, and you can improve your service levels by talking to people online as well. So we had in a few of my jobs, we've had maybe sales managers or whatever that haven't gone along the social media lines because they've done things their traditional way. So I always was the guy that put my hand up and said, "Oh, I'll do it if you like," and that's how it started. And did training. I was, very grateful for training that was provided and so on. And that's kind of how it started. Then local, I managed the local half marathon, social media for 7, 8 years now, and that's kind of how it started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you begin to realize that the power of social media could be turned into a business? And what are some of the most exciting case studies that you've helped manage?
Power of social media. Well, basically about 4.5 years ago, I come to the end of a contract with my current employer. We decided to part ways, and it was a part of my life that was just a bit bumpy. And I went to visit my sister, and we got talking about what I was going to do, and she dared me to launch my own business. For anyone listening that knows me and my sister, she's dared me to run my own business. Dare say I was going to go away and run my own business. But with her help, we put a business plan together, and the Social Bee was launched. And crikey, little old me with a laptop, corner of a lounge. Everyone that came around to my flat would know what that looked like, and it's very, very different today. The power of social media. What's strange was at that time I started networking as well. 4.5 years ago when I first started going out into the networking world, and it was quite apparent that the similarities between face-to-face networking and social media were huge. And because I was practicing my networking skills, I could just do that online. And that's silly things, like someone links in, messages you, reply. It's networking and it's conversation building, and probably your readers will suffer, but by the end of this, they'll realize that I don't shut up. So, it was a good transition for me, definitely.
And what are some of those, sort of case studies that stand out in your mind? You've been doing this for 4.5 years now. What are some of the most successful sort of clients or campaigns that you've run?
The Hastings Half Marathon definitely has been one of them. We've grown the audience massively. They've had such a tough 18 months, all run by a charity. It's been so difficult for them because they've had to cancel races. Like lots of people, it's been very difficult. Crikey, who have we looked after? We've got one very exciting one at the moment that is a national business selling products worldwide. And that's very, very. I'm actually not allowed to tell you who they are, which for little old me, when I got the details saying you're not allowed to discuss this, in a strange way was quite exciting. But we've dealt with office stationers, accountants, builders, painters, and decorators. How social media is suitable for everybody in any business. It's about finding how to get that message across in their particular way. I've got tons of testimonials, and it's so heartwarming when people will say thank you. I don't think I noticed it as much when I was employed, but being self-employed, it's really lovely.
Brilliant. You mentioned that obviously your sister dared you to start up your own business. What was life like? Did that surprise you? Was you entrepreneurial growing up? Like, was you one of those kids at school stickers and bubble gums in the playground?
No, not at all. Do you know what? Growing up, and thankfully from my previous employer, I was able to train as a manager, and that was all I ever wanted to do. I wanted to manage people, and not even necessarily for the right reasons. I think it was because I wanted to boss people around, but quickly learned that wasn't the way. And I've learned along the lines of, from different employers, how to do it, how not to do it, when to put an arm round, and so on. So that was all I ever wanted to do. And Christ, the first year of owning my own business, oh my God, that was tough. I wasn't ready for it, David. I wasn't entrepreneurial at all. Although I think that's probably how I felt. I think 4.5 years on, people will tell you that I am, because I now just don't say no to any opportunities. I tell you, the biggest shock for me was my first sale. When running my own business, my first sale. Where's the order form? Where's the invoice? I've come from a background. I was very fortunate in that I've had good teams around me. So when I was selling newspaper advertising, for example, I'd go in, see the client, agree a deal, go back to the office. Paperwork would go in the tray. So then someone would go off and do the artwork. Someone would go off and do the invoice. Someone would go off and do this, that, and the other. And I would next see it on Friday when the newspaper came out. But when I was running my own business, it was like, I don't even have a printer. How am I going to do an invoice? So quite quickly, it became quite apparent of, Jesus, Cale, what you're doing. But if you're going to do this, right, you need to start thinking about it, because it was a knee-jerk reaction. It totally was. But one that I look back and I'm able to smile now, because it's quite funny.
Yeah, for sure. What are the key differences between all of the main social media platforms, and should every business be on every single one of them?
Blimey, key differences. And should businesses be on all of them? I did a workshop yesterday, and I answered a very similar question. It depends on you and your business. It depends on what your business does. It depends on where your audience are. I think it's very, very important, is that you check with your audience which platforms they're on. Just because as a user you might like Instagram, it doesn't necessarily mean that your products and services are suited to Instagram. But maybe your audience isn't on Instagram. Let's say you're a young person. Sounds a bit stereotypical, really, but you're a youngster launching a business and you love TikTok. So you're out there recording TikTok videos and so on. But your products are for the older generation. You're going to miss it. You'll miss the opportunity. The difference between them, obviously, the sheer numbers on Facebook you can't get away from. It's where everybody is. But LinkedIn and Instagram are the numbers are catching up on Facebook. Don't discount those, definitely.
Yeah, brilliant. How many times should someone be posting per day, and is it okay to duplicate the same content across all of the platforms that you're on?
Do I think that's a really tough one, because with algorithm changes, you used to be able to get away with once or twice a week, and that be not. That wouldn't be enough, to get a strong message across, but it certainly would be enough to keep you ticking along. You've got to be posting daily now, at least. But, what's really, really important is what you look at that content is. Because if that is daily sales posts, it's going to fall on deaf ears. Your audience are going to get bored, and the algorithms are going to say, look, this is not what our readers want to see. It's really interesting, the conversations I've had in the last few weeks about how the algorithm, in particular on Facebook, is just stopping everything going, getting seen. However, then when you start having a bit of fun, or you start being a bit more personal, the change is huge. One of my clients, it's product, and then there was a picture of the couple outside their shop. Product. Then there was a customer testimonial, and we were looking at the analytics. And it's low, peak, low, peak. And when you look, it was like, right, what were the peaks? It was people.
Yeah.
So message on everything is, if you can make anything relatable to your audience, whether it be fun, friendly, personal related, that's going to be your winners, definitely.
Yeah.
Anything that is not, we're sick of being sold. David, for the last year and a half, everyone was online. Of course they were, because we weren't allowed out of our houses. But that means for a year and a half now, we've been sold to constantly via our social media channels. I think the general public are pushing back.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. And on the personal thing as well, I mean, we recently bought a pug, a puppy pug, and when we was looking at our analytics, anyone listening out there, if you can afford to buy an office pug, then that is going to give your social media the biggest boost you've ever had in your life.
Yeah. So same for me. I posted this week, we got a black pug just like yours, and I tried to sit outside doing some emails, and he was there. So you've got a picture on my social now, the side of my laptop with this pug's face. But the interaction was huge. Another couple of examples this week. Look, let's face it, on social, there's lots of rubbish out there, isn't there? There's lots of random posts. But for me this week, one of the big ones was, name me one of your favourite movie quotes. The interaction was huge.
Yeah.
Now, it's okay to turn around and say, how is that relevant for my business? It's relevant for your business because as far as Facebook's concerned, lots of people are interested in your page.
Yeah. That's a good point. So are questions a good way to go by trying to get, almost claw in that engagement by asking questions, even if it isn't relevant to your business, just by getting that engagement?
100%, because as far as Facebook doesn't know what you're posting and how you're posting it, it just sees that lots of people are interacting. So if you're a graphic designer, do you like this logo or this logo? Or if you're a dressmaker, do you like the red dress or the blue dress? Things like that. We're by nature, we're all very, very opinionated, whether we like to believe it or not. Social media gives us the opinion, gives us the ability to have an opinion and hide behind a phone.
Yeah.
So I can give you my opinion quite comfortably because you're not going to come and get me. But joking apart, if you ask someone how well done they like their steak, they're going to tell you.
Yeah.
They just are.
Yeah.
And the algorithms then say, right, the last post that this page did had 20 comments, got liked 50 times. That means that the content they're providing is of use to our readers. So we're going to put it in front of more people.
Yeah, it's really, really good. We're going to touch on it in a minute anyway about the algorithm changes, but you've just sort of prompted something in my mind. Things change on Facebook. We talk about Facebook, as an example, but I know it's similar for all of the platforms. What are the no-nos now in terms of is putting an external link? If I was to put a picture of something in my post and then say, for more information, go onto my website or go and buy this product now. Am I right in thinking that that is a no-no in terms of these platforms do not like you sending people away from their platform?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have said no. Obviously do it, but don't do it. Don't no more than 2 or 3 times a week.
Okay.
Because think of Facebook again. We keep referring to Facebook, but it's the big player, let's face it. They want people to stay on their site. That's where all their ads are. That's how they're making their money. They're a business at the end of the day. So if you as a business owner are taking traffic away from Facebook are going to say, well, all right, cheerio, we're not going to put your page in front of too many people because all you're doing is trying to get rid of our readers.
Yeah.
I use the term readers, but think about your social media platforms like newspapers and things, you've got to keep people interested.
Yeah.
And if you're going to keep sending people away, that's not going to help. But again, like a newspaper never had an external link, yet they managed to get a message across in adverts that you would respond to. So there's definitely loads of way, if read our latest blog, here's the link. Okay, so that's taking people away. But you could put a picture saying new blog on our website, read our latest blog, visit our website now for more details. You don't have to put the link every time.
Yeah.
And that's something that you should definitely be considering.
Yeah. No, it's really helpful, Cal. We done some A/B testing for this podcast actually in this YouTube channel, when what we found is when we actually put in a link, because we, ideally we want our hub to be our YouTube channel or our website, which is embedding the YouTube videos, just because that's the easiest way to monetize the channel or monetize the platform. However, when you put in a link to a YouTube video, that when you look at the insights, it's terrible. However, if you then upload the video onto native, so it's a native MP4 file actually onto the Talk Business with Facebook page, then the views go through the roof. So, and it's literally this, it's black and white. There are no grey areas with that. So I think that really, really supports that as well, Carl, right?
So think about when you're asking people to get in touch, encourage them to use Facebook Messenger rather than putting an email address on there or a web address or something. Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, they're Facebook's babies. They don't mind you using those.
Yeah, really good advice. That's brilliant. We have seen social media platforms come and go. MySpace was probably the first biggie. What did they do wrong to lose all that market share? And who is most at risk from all the big boys today in being next to disappear?
Blimey, mate, that's a toughie. I never looked at MySpace. I got talked into Facebook by a previous colleague. Let's face it, the finances behind Facebook have meant that it's gone from strength to strength. The latest one out now being Clubhouse. That's quite a popular one. I haven't jumped onto that myself because I'm still a little bit unsure. I think it's working for lots of people, but I'm still not sure whether it's a bit of a backstep for us, because we've spent the last year of Facebook and everyone saying, get onto video, be visual, this, that, and the other. And now we're trying to use a new platform that isn't visual.
Yeah.
And it's just audible, and that's a little bit confusing. Look, they're trying to launch new ones all the time, and they fall about the wayside. We felt that TikTok wasn't going to happen, and oh my God, TikTok was one of those that benefited from lockdown. I mean, crikey, it just went. I mean, it almost coincided time-wise, didn't it? Launch,
Yeah.
and that's gone from strength to strength. Yeah, I'm not sure. I can speak from my client base, okay, and there are only 25%, I think, that are using Twitter. I mean, I think that says a lot for the smaller business owner. That it's a lot of hard work. Twitter, you have to be on it all the time. Yeah, I'm going for a walk. I'm having my dinner. This is what we're doing in the shop today. It takes a lot of work. So I don't know. Maybe keep an eye on Twitter.
Yeah, interesting. You mentioned Clubhouse there. I was an early adopter and spent a lot of time. Again, the launch of that during lockdown was a massive stroke of luck for them. I'm sure they didn't plan COVID-19 into their business model.
Let's hope not.
Yeah, I think the direct competitor for Clubhouse would be podcasts rather than other social media platforms, right? Because it's in the moment, it's like a live podcast. The downside to Clubhouse is there's no archive of what you do. You could be in a room for 4 or 5 hours. You could give some of your best golden nuggets. You could be speaking like the best motivational speaker, Tony Robbins-esque, but unless anyone was in the room, it's gone. And whereas Facebook and all of the others have this archive, and obviously you can point people towards that, and YouTube even more so with the search engine capability of it. So, like you say, really interesting to see what happens with that and how that kind of shapes, the next sort of 18 months to 2 years across the sort of.
Well, so you think the year we've had, where we've all done Zoom and we're all doing FaceTime, and Facebook have Facebook Portal where you can have grandma on the TV if you want. I mean, I don't, but you know what I mean. Then to suddenly go to something that isn't visual just seems a little bit of a side step or a back step. I mean, but look, I haven't used it, so
Cale, you're saying this from a place of being very handsome. See, whereas Clubhouse for somebody like me is absolutely ideal being audio only, right?
Jesus, I'm going to end up looking like this if I'm not careful. So handsome, behave. I'm not paying you enough. Next question.
We spoke a little bit about algorithms. Algorithms seem to change all the time. Just when you think that you've conquered Facebook and you know what's going on, they seem to change something. What's the best way to keep on top of what's happening? But before you tell us about that, let's hear from our sponsor.
EKM's mission is to enable small and medium-sized businesses to succeed online.
I absolutely love working for EKM. It's definitely a job that doesn't feel like a job.
I've seen EKM grow from that tiny office that we had in Darwin to the huge campus that we've got in Preston. It was a shame that we had to start working from home, as the office was a real lively place and full of really talented people that I got to work with.
Really grateful to EKM for giving me the opportunity to do something that I really enjoy every day, solving interesting problems and working on a product that hopefully helps a lot of people.
Whilst we've all been working from home, EKM has done such a good job at making everybody still feel connected. From daily catch-ups with your team and other EKM colleagues to Friday night socials like Murder Mysteries, Virtual Crystal Maze and so much more. Thanks for keeping us all going, we really appreciate it.
Amazing achievement for the whole team. It really is amazing, isn't it?
It is.
So Cale, just before the break, he was about to shed some light on this ever-changing algorithm that seems to be happening on all of the main platforms. What is the best way to stay on top of what's going on with all of these?
Look, think of the algorithm changes, right? That's the businesses that are Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. That's them trying to make more money.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're shifting things so that you will want, as a business owner, you will want to spend money advertising so that you reach more people. But what we've already talked about and we've seen actual responses is that if you are more personal and you show a personal side to your business, the algorithms won't see, they'll miss that stuff. Your audience will keep interacting. They'll keep getting engaged with your posts. So keep them regular. Keep check in every day with your audience. Look, we have huge, I'm not practicing what I preach here, but we have a huge opportunity to update our social medias daily. The sun and the sky looks different every day. It's a different color. So that means your shop front would look different every day. Or you might attend a meeting in a different location every day, or you might buy something different from a different shop for lunch every day. So you have plenty of content that you could put out there. And none of those things have got external links that are going to upset the algorithms. They're not repetitive that are going to upset the algorithms. So how do you get around them is you keep fresh, you keep new, keep it constantly moving. Update people with what you're doing. I hope you don't mind, but I put a post out this morning saying I was looking forward to speaking to you. Now, why did I do that? Okay, I wanted to give you a plug on what you're doing. I wanted to give me a plug on what I'm doing. I wanted to put some fresh content out. It shows people that they might want to listen to me and you out on future podcasts, so you'll be grateful for the extra advert. All things like that you can keep it fresh. You can keep doing different things. And at no point am I, sending people away from the social media platforms.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. We know, it's such a key part of due diligence that people do, certainly on considered purchases. You're about to buy a kitchen. A lot of people will check out that company's website, and then also they'll check that company's Facebook page as well. And there's nothing more off-putting than seeing a company that hasn't posted since 2016, or they've only got 4 likes. It could really put you off on the purchase. So we know social proof is very important. What are the pros and cons of buying followers and likes, or engaging in things such as follow for a follow?
Don't do it. That's just please don't buy followers, don't buy likes, don't the algorithms pick up the hashtag follow for follow straight away, so that's a no, don't do it. If you're buying likes, you've got no idea where those likes are and where they're from. Let's say you've got 100 likes on your page, okay? You go away and you buy 5,000 likes. So socially, people can look at your page and go, wow, they've got over 5,000 likes on their page. Yeah, happy days. Then you go to Facebook and you say, right, I want to do a Facebook ad and pick the audience that's liked my page. Well, what if, let's say, just as an example, and we'll pick a country, 5,000 of those likes are in Turkey. They can't buy your products and services, but you're not to know that. So no, please don't buy likes, don't buy followers. And keep it as manual as you can. Sometimes things have to be scheduled, things have to be automated, but keep as much natural as you possibly can.
Yeah. It's sort of following on from that. What are the best ways? So if there's a new business owner listening and, they're really keen because of that social proof to get away from only having their mum and their wife and, their next door neighbour liking their page. Hey. What is the best way to organically grow that following as quickly as possible to get away from that place?
Nothing wrong with your mum, nan and auntie liking your Facebook page. Absolutely. We've all got to start somewhere. It's when they start interacting you've got a problem. My mum likes to put, I'm so proud of you, with a big love heart, and you think, oh, blimey. Anyway, no. Look, regular posting, keep it about you and about your person and about your business and what makes you different. Get into some groups, start joining some groups as your page, start interacting with others. I think that's the bit that I can talk about my social media management services, and one of the biggest changes is it used to just be about posting. It's becoming more and more about interaction. So my clients are wanting me to go and like other people's posts. Yeah. Or, if you put a post on that said, great talk with Cale today, what a guy, suave, sophisticated, blah, 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 you get the gist. Potentially my clients would want me to come and like that post on their behalf. Because what happens is it flashes up, Joe Blogs Interiors has liked your post. Yep. So they're really important, and I think what that does is that shows your business name in lots of other places, which will then encourage people to come and like your page.
Yeah.
Now, we're curious. So if it flashes up in your notifications, Joe Blogs has liked your page, you're going to go and have a look and see what they do and how they do it. And so, that's the best way.
Yeah, that's fantastic advice. I guess it's the digital way of handing out a business card, right? In terms of liking that content, and you can be really targeted as well in terms of, for an example, if you're a carpenter and you've just set up your social media, it's looking for those relationships that you would in a real world in terms of who you want to network with and those other businesses that are, you know, like-minded as well, and doing exactly what you're saying, liking their content, trying to build a relationship online, and hopefully that will then bear some fruit in the real world as well, right?
Do you know the biggest thing, David, for people that are getting onto social now is realizing that it is going to take a bit of work if you want it to be successful. If you don't do paid advertising, then it will be free. So anything that's free is going to take a lot of work and time and effort. But you know, look, you know, some networking groups say that your second year will be better than your first year. That's no coincidence. What that actually means is that if you put a bit of work in, your relationships will develop. And you know, so someone puts a post on saying it's their 5-year business anniversary. Go and say well done. Yes, okay, it's a couple of words, you know, but what it says is that you are trying to build a relationship with that person. Hello, I'm here. That's what that does.
Yeah.
You know, so when you talk about social proof and things, is getting customers to leave you reviews. Really, really important.
Yeah.
Thanking people for those reviews. Really, 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 really important. So many business owners don't do that, and it frustrates the hell out of me. You know, someone walked into your shop and said thank you. You're not going to ignore them. You'd say, "Oh, I'm glad you know, thanks for coming. Please come again next time. We look forward to dealing with you again." So reply to get reviews, reply to reviews, and then interact with others. Talk to people. You know, you will soon spot. Let's use LinkedIn as an example, right? All these automated messages you're getting. You'll soon find out who the people are, because when you reply, "Hi, thanks very much," blah, 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 if you get an automated, I love it when it comes to, "Morning, Dave. How are you?" I say, "Well, I don't know who Dave is, but you know, good morning." And I just start talking to them, because you know, more people you talk to, the bigger reach your products and services are going to have.
Yeah. If a company owner was listening that was still hesitant, despite all of the benefits you've just been speaking to about, Cal, to get their business online, and you could directly pitch to them right now, what would you say to them?
Well, look, it'd be a long conversation about what their products and services are. Why are they wanting to go online? Is it because people are telling them they should, or they actually want to do it themselves? You know, it's always going to be difficult if they've got no interest in social themselves, and that's when they might want to get someone to do something for them. And you know, pick one that you either like or you think, or where your customers are, the one that your customers are using, and then look at the others. Don't just launch your business and say, right, I'm going on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instabook, and all, you know, the lot, because you'll just create yourself a headache and you'll do a bad job. I mean that in the nicest ways. You said just now, imagine Googling someone and finding that their Facebook hasn't been updated for ages. Think about that from the concept of how our last 14 months have been. If I go on to Google, search up a business, and the Twitter account hasn't been used for 3-4 years, to me, that would say that the business has gone bust. But they're flourishing. They created a Twitter account. They're now not using it. For the same. So then for the new business, just pick one. Get comfortable with it. Get comfortable talking about you and your business, because we're not all salespeople. It's only me that likes talking about myself. You know, just do one slowly, but or contact someone like myself for help.
Yeah, brilliant. What are the most common mistakes that you see people making on social media?
Well, you know, look, doing a quick rushed job, it can often be quite apparent. You know, a text update is not enough these days. You know, there needs to be a picture or a video. Often the call to action, I think, is a big one. You know, I love seeing the posts of, "Would you like this? We do these, and if you could buy 10 today, call us now." And there's no phone number, there's no email address, there's no click on messenger button. You know, if you're going to put in the work and you want people to contact you, at least tell people how to do it. Because you know, attention to detail for a lot of us now, we've got so much going on in our lives, pinging here, doorbells, whatever. So we're going to lose concentration of what we're doing, you know, and also think that the majority are on a mobile phone. So if you've caught them and they're reading your post and it says, "Would you like one of these products? Buy it today at a special discounted price." Oh, you've got them. So give them a button to click on so they can ring you. Something like that, you know, that's a huge mistake, I think. But, you know, look, I speak to so many people for coaching and management, and they worry so much about doing it wrong. I think if you just start from a basis of putting yourself out there and being yourself, being who you are, if you're not comfortable putting your dinner onto Facebook, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it because someone else is telling you to. Videos for me, mate. You'd be surprised. We're sitting here recording a video. I struggle with the videos, so I stay away from them. But strangely, if I try and record a video, I can be there for 3 hours. If I go live, I get it done. Okay, I'm not overly happy because I'm quite critical, but the live would benefit me much better than the recorded video anyway.
Yeah, for sure. What are your best 3 top tips for anyone listening as a takeaway that someone can go and implement and improve their social media right now?
The first one is interacting with others. If you can do that as your business, start talking to others as your business page, then that will be really quite beneficial. Liking posts on, go away, like 5 a day if you can, and just that will be enough. We've talked so much about the personal stuff, the pictures of the dog. I had one of my most popular posts last year was a leaf falling off my plastic plant. And I remember putting online saying, geez, it must be cold outside. The leaves are falling off the plastic plants. And the interaction was absolutely huge. It doesn't come naturally to everybody to think, oh, I'm going to put that on social. But if you can start thinking that way, then that would be really, really helpful. And the third thing, I think, would be consistency.
Yeah.
If you're going to do social media as part of your marketing mix, stick with it. Don't dabble for a week and think it didn't do anything. Or my page hasn't got 5,000 likes, so I'm going to give up. Oh, 4 things. Sorry, I know you asked for 3. Don't get paranoid with page likes. Yeah. You're better to have 100 people buying from you than 5,000 people that aren't.
Yeah, brilliant. We've already spoken so much about the benefits of being on social media, and we know that you're an expert and you can help pretty much anybody. But I'm interested, what types of businesses are your actual perfect customer? Who do you want to work with?
I love working with tradesmen. Tradesmen are great because they don't have the time to be doing social media themselves, up and down ladders and so on, but they have some great visuals to put out on social. So befores and afters are absolutely brilliant. Probably business owners that are marketers already. So they may be already writing blogs. They actively look for testimonials from their clients. They know about marketing. Cale, go and do my Facebook. I know you'll do a great job. Off you go. See you later. And we won't talk to you for 12 months. That's hard work. It's difficult to know how best to get a result for them. But a company that says, yeah, we know what we want to say. We know how to say it, but we don't have the time or energy to do it. Can you go and do it? Then happy days. That's a great client. My other side to my business, which you can see sort of advertised up here, the Post Method. That's my 3-month coaching program. That's probably my most popular service now. We do one-to-one coaching with people. And the ideal client for that is the control freak. They want to do it themselves. I want to do my social media. I want to know what's going on it. I want to put out the post myself, but they haven't got a clue what to do, or where to start, or what to say. They're the ideal. Anyone, I use control freaks. A friend of mine said a control enthusiast because she didn't like the word freak. But David, lots of people do want to do it themselves because let's face it, we've both had businesses that have been small and we have wanted to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
So if you're struggling to get social media up and running for your business, then we should definitely have a conversation.
Yeah. So that's very much in line with, if you give a man a fish, then he eats for 1 day. But if you teach him how to fish, then they eat forever, right?
There you go. Apparently so.
You can have that.
Whatever you say, boss.
Yeah. Hold on your business cards.
I'll write that
down. Really interested, Cal, because you mentioned at the start of this interview that 4.5 years ago you were dared to start your own business, and here you are, years later with an award-winning social media agency under your belt. What resources have been most helpful in you developing your skill set over those years to become the entrepreneur and the business leader you are today?
Oh, I don't know if resources is the right word, but realizing that you can't do it all yourself. When I talked earlier on about having to find my own invoice and create an invoice and things, I have a bookkeeper now, and a very, very good one. Now, that doesn't make me Flash Harry or anything. What that means is I've identified what I can't do, and that was going to the bottom of the pile every single time. And I've got help, and it's not expensive, because when you balance it all out, it it works out really well. I've got a business coach. In fact, I've got two. I'm very lucky. And that's the thing, get help. You can't do it all yourself, even when you think you can, because you will have things that you're really, really good at. And like me, you will have things that go to the bottom of the pile. Those things are, for a small business owner, as I found out, even though they're at the bottom of the pile, they're really, really important. And if you're not going to do them through procrastination, or you can't do them, or whatever it might be, there are plenty of people out there that can. I've done networking. Face-to-face networking has been great. Obviously, the last 14 months or so is all via Zoom and things, but that's been really good as well. And being open to opportunities. You come to me, Cale, let's do a video. I could have said no. Of course I could have. I'm busy. It's bonkers. But taking opportunities when they're presented to you, I think, are really, you say yes, and you never know what might happen.
Yeah, definitely. Cale, as always, I always enjoy speaking to you. I always come away feeling happier than I did before I spoke to you, and infused.
Thank you, mate.
The last half an hour has gone really quickly. But before you go, do you have any closing thoughts? And also, what is the best way for people to keep in touch with you?
Keep in touch with me. Well, with a name like Cale, C-A-L-E, you can't go wrong. You can Google me, Facebook me, whatever, and chances are you're going to find me. So please reach out. I'd love to hear from you. And I'm always offering, the chance to Zoom call with total strangers, because I love finding out about what people are doing. And I've learned so much from others just by having random conversations with strangers. Closing thoughts. Thanks for the opportunity. This is clearly what we should all be embracing as business owners, is the opportunity to show ourselves. We talked all the way through, haven't we, about social media posts being about you and your business. There's no better way to do that than by talking to someone like yourself.
Yeah, brilliant.
There you go.
And, lovely plug there, Cale. I love that. That made up for the fact that when I asked you what resources you have helped you develop, you didn't mention Talk Business with during that. So, you lost a point for that, and you gained it back here. So well done, mate.
Okay, fair enough. All right, you're fair play.
Brilliant.
Speak to David. He's amazing.
Cale, thanks again for your time. We're going to make sure that we've got the links to the post method and to your social media agency, plus all of your social media and platforms, so that you can see what a good platform looks like in the description below. Thanks again for your time, mate. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks, David. Good to see you. Take care, buddy.